Hey everyone, Prince here. So one of the topics that I was reflecting on, and I guess looking back on my life, and the reason why I'm coming to the conclusion why I feel like I have been ignoring, I guess, my calling in life, if you want to put it like that, or ignoring the obvious truth of who I am. Sounds grandeur. It's really not. It's really simple. But I feel like one conversation that keeps replaying in my head, and there's a few, I guess, life instances that remind me of why I feel like this. But one thing that sticks out is one time I was with my father when I was a junior in college. I was commuting to school, and he would always pick me up. And I think he used to get out around like by the time he got to me, because he would stop by my grandmother's house. It would be around like 6 p.m., 6:30, right? So by that time, I think I was teaching dance classes, and this is just one of the moments of many. But I think I was coming to the conclusion by this point that like, oh, like you had your fun, but now you have to kind of like focus and hunker down on school because you need to figure out what you're gonna do post school and what job you're gonna get. You're a history major and a computer science minor. Like it's not gonna get you anywhere, right? So I remember getting in the car, and this is how if you know conversations with my dad and how fights happen is we started talking about my day, and then knowing I'm my dad's son, he said something, and I'm like, I just kind of blew him off, and I'm like, what are you talking about? It doesn't make any sense, right? And basically, what the conversation was is that he thought that I was focusing on too many different things and spreading myself thin and not really focusing on things that made me happy. And I don't think he didn't really say it like that, but the crux of the conversation was that, right? And I remember sitting there and I think to myself, I was like, oh, well, that's not a problem because I'm just doing what I like. I'm not taking any of this seriously. And that's kind of the harping point for me that out of this conversation is that, yeah, I'm not taking a lot of the secondary items that I have seriously. They're just for fun. It's just to pass the time. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but in terms of how I was viewing it at that time, it's like I was dancing. I was teaching dance classes. I had uh, two jobs and an internship. Yes, so it was wild. I was like doing a lot during my day. I'm just trying to remember what the internship was. Okay, I remember it was at the Queen's DA. So I just remember doing like, a lot of stuff. And he's like, Amir, like, why don't you ever? He said that flat. I found it rude, but it made sense at the time. It makes sense now. Is that he said, why don't you focus on any of these things? Like you want to do your history major, but then you're a computer science minor, and then you're doing like legal studies internships. You're taking Chinese and Japanese. Like what? Like why are you all over the place? You're teaching dance classes, but you're not really taking anything seriously. And I remember like I told him I just want to do what I want because like I don't like really have time for anything else, and like this is what occupies my time. And I don't know why he like bugged out on me. And I remember like screaming in the car, and I was like, yo, I don't need to be in this car. I don't know why this is even a big issue. But other than the fact that I got yelled at, I will say that my dad, I feel like he was, and going back to the conversation I had the other day about people see something in you, but you don't see it in yourself. And it's like, I think for him, he's like, oh, my son's kind of like decently good at some of the things that he's doing because he's doing all these different things. Why doesn't he just focus on winning these things and he could probably be successful, right? Just if he just chose to focus. So I think now that I look back on it, I'm not looking at it like, oh, you're Amir, you're wasting your time. Why don't you focus? You don't have any focus in life, da da da. But I think it was more or less out of admiration. Weird enough is that, and my dad has a really hard time communicating certain things. It comes off wrong, and I have to sit back and reflect about what he was really trying to say, because he doesn't say it directly, and I don't think he really knows how to say it. But that's over the years is that I've learned that yeah, like I think he was kind of like my dad's kind of like my number one cheerleader when it came to like sports and even things I like to do. He always supported me. He never really said I can't do something. Even though he'll probably pass judgment on it. It's kind of funny, but he'll let me know. He'll let me know. But that's one thing I really appreciate about my dad is that he was always very supportive and decisions that I wanted to do. As much stress that it brought me, he knew that I can handle it. So that's pretty much it. I just wanted to kind of go over that. I'm probably gonna make a video about that in the future and like better organize my thoughts. But that's all I wanted to get done. So all right, peace out.